Moni.
Oh, you know her, Rita? Awesome. E-twins are here. Hopefully they're both here. They're out in the Midwest like you guys, Dennis.
Oh, you got a little Midwest.
Oh, yeah. Simone, how are you? Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming. And E-twins, I'm glad I checked that. I didn't even think to check the somebody signing up after I sent the email this morning, but again, I guess I realized I sent it like 6:30, so that's good. Dennis, you all set with your computer?
Give me 1 second.
Nice. And Ariel, how's the new position going? That start up yet?
I start tomorrow.
Okay.
So
virtual.
Tomorrow's new teacher orientation, then a week of superintendent's conference day, and then kids come on Tuesday of next week.
Okay, not bad.
Yeah.
So now, are you and SAR's district rivals?
No, our districts are close by, but I don't know if they would play each other in sports or anything. But
no.
No, we're very different sizes, so we wouldn't be.
Okay. Are any districts doing sports? Any of you all got scheduled sports?
They're dropping like flies right now.
I'm sure. What about BPS? Craig, what are you guys doing for sports? Yeah.
I'm not part of Boston Public, but I am assuming.
Well, you're tuned in.
I think that they're just kind of taking and doing some practices, see how things go with practices and see if they're going to do something for the season.
Okay. Hey, Carrie, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, and I just moved Melissa because I saw you in the attendees, so I moved you over to this side. Now we got a full grid here, looking good.
Do you prefer Matt or Matthew?
Matt is fine.
Okay.
I mean, you don't even want to know what Dennis called me one night out in Chicago, so we won't even get into that. So Matt works just fine.
No, there's a couple of names that I'm sure I can't say, and I'm really particular about making sure. So there's a couple that I wrote down, like in, phonics format, so I wouldn't mess up anybody's name.
Okay. All right. And I just saw my mom log in, so we all better say nice things.
Oh, that's amazing.
Hold on, Mom.
It makes you feel any better. My daughter is choosing the DMAs over us tonight.
Well, good thing it's being recorded.
Can you slide your mom over here? I'd like to meet her.
No, we had a glitch one time when it was Craig and Dennis and I did a webinar this summer, and she showed up just on the panel, and because we had Sloan Joseph as one of the panelists, but Jean Joseph seemed to slide right in there and was continually part of the group. So it was quite funny. So I don't think so. I would ask her to put it in the chat if she wanted to slide over, but she'd have to call me to do it, and I don't want to get into that. So
maybe we'll have to have a family session for us one day.
Maybe maybe we could do that. All right, as people start coming in, if you want to throw your Twitter handles or where you're from over in the chat, we are going to get started in about 1 minute as people continue to start rolling in through here, and it's great. Brian Gorman is here. Brian, we were just talking about you.
Fancy Brian.
Yeah, sorry was saying that one time she asked you to do something and you kind of didn't show up and stuff. Was that what you said? Or was it I think it was the opposite, actually. It was the opposite.
Hey, Livia, Lauren, Christine, Patty.
Yeah, people
Look
are
at this
Canada. Olivia from Canada. I like it.
And Kathy Sue here from Oregon.
I like it. The great state of Massachusetts. I like it. Oh,
we have some walkers in here. It's nice to see some walking ed people.
Some walking ed. Yeah. A couple Christines I see. Kanisha, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good. And psyched you're here as people keep rolling in. So at 8:31, we are going to get started. I see Brian Gorman did sign on. I want to thank Brian. I want to thank Bunsey. As you see some of our great backgrounds here from Bunsey. They are a great organization, a great tool. We're actually launching them. I'm psyched this year in Leicester. So I'm psyched to see that. And they are going to do some giveaways tonight. So one of the things you can do if you are part of the group tonight is tweet at Bunsey, and they're going to do some giveaways. They're going to send some things out. They're going to hook you up in some capacity. I know Brian will take care of you. Also, Gaggle, as you see over my left shoulder, they were really kind to the show. They put a lot of resources up on our website, and they are an organization I've known and worked with for a long period of time, and they are going to be doing some giveaways as well. So if you want to tag the Mentor Roundtable, hashtag Mentor Roundtable, or our Twitter handle actually is Mentor Round. Thank you, Sari, for getting that up and going strong. So tweet at Bunsey. I see it. Thank you, Carrie. And we're going to get a chance to meet all of these great panelists here today. So on my screen, I see Craig, Sari, and Yuritsa. So if you three could introduce yourselves first, tell our folks. And one of the things that was fabulous is we had over 200 people sign up, and I know everybody can't make it tonight, but a lot of people actually emailed me because I sent out an email today saying they couldn't make it and they were psyched for the recording. So just so people know, we are recording the session as well, and the recording is going to be sent out and it'll be on our website following the event tonight. So Craig, Sari, Yuritsa, take it away.
Hi everyone. My name is Craig Martin. I am excited to join you all. I'm a K-8 executive director in Boston. My handle is Craig C. Martin at Twitter. And what else do I need to let people know, Matthew? I mean, I'm a Capricorn. I like long walks on the beach. What?
No, it sounds great. One thing I've learned about Craig over the years is he's really humble. He is an amazing principal. He's an amazing leader. I mean, to the point of being the principal of the year here in Massachusetts. So we are all lucky to have him part of this group. So I think that's good, man. Thank you for joining.
Hi, everybody. I'm Sari Goldberg McEwen. I am thrilled to be here. Thank you all for coming out and supporting our kickoff, Mentor Roundtable, first night. I've been in education for over 15 years. Can't believe I get paid to do what I do. Started in the classroom, went all the way up. I'm in central office now, and one of the hats that has been added to the pieces that I work on right now is virtual principal, and I am super excited. I can't wait to see what this year brings.
Hey guys, it's Yuritsa from Brooklyn. Just looking at the chat, I know probably half of you guys. I've been teaching for 11 years. I've been mentoring for the past 6 years. I teach history, and I also teach teachers. I'm also founding president of YV Educational Resources, so we are actually here to help you guys out. So however I can be of assistance, just ask.
Awesome. And not only that, you're going to be a great assistant on all the people who tune in and all these great new educators and leaders here today. So my next row, just for you to know, Molly, Jacqueline, Jason, and Emily, if you could just give a quick introduction, then we're going to jump into some questions that we got.
Hi everyone, I'm Molly. I'm from Rhode Island, but moving to Massachusetts soon. I'm one of the mentees of the group, so I'm going to be a first-year teacher this year. I'm teaching first grade, and I'm really excited for that and to be part of the Mentor Roundtable.
And a Springfield College grad, 2020.
Yes.
I like it.
Hi, my name is Jackie Fabian. I am based out of the Chicago suburbs. This is actually going to be my first year in a middle school. I was an admin last year at the high school and decided to make the switch to middle school. So I'm really excited to go back to the classroom. I will be teaching 6th and 8th grade ELA. So that'll be an adventure. I've never taught students this young before. I am also nationally board certified and mentor national board candidates. They have a minority group that I'm pretty active in called NAME. So I love the work that we're doing with that as well. And I'm just really excited to be here and talk to you guys tonight.
Awesome. Thanks for joining.
Hey, good evening, everyone. My name is Jason Love. This is my 4th year serving as an assistant principal, but my 1st year serving in my current district, which is Brown Deer, which is right outside of Milwaukee, so part of Milwaukee County. And I'm one of the mentees, and I look forward to having a great experience and sharing with everyone. Thank you.
Awesome. So rounding out our group, Emily, Carrie, Melissa, Kanisha, and Dennis. Bring it home.
All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Emily Van Horn. I am also a mentee and a first-year teacher. I'm currently living in Connecticut, but also moving to Massachusetts very soon. I'm a Springfield College grad of 2020, just like Molly. So I'm going to be a 3rd grade ELA teacher in Southwick, Mass. And so something interesting that I'd love to get some feedback on throughout this whole process that I'm so excited to be a part of is I'm going to be teaching half in person, half remote. So like in the morning, in person, in the afternoon, remote. So it's going to be a double up for me here. So it's very exciting, and I can't wait to talk to you all about it.
Awesome. We're psyched for you to be here.
I think I'm next, yes?
Yes.
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Carrie Bauckham. I am a 6th, 7th, and 8th grade special education teacher from the northwest suburbs of Chicago, Illinois. I'm heading into, I always lose count. I think it's somewhere around 20 plus years as a special education teacher. I couldn't agree more about being a teacher. I love every day going into my classroom and getting to do what I do. I wanted to be a teacher since I was in 5th grade, and that I get to go and do it every day is just absolutely amazing. I feel very strongly that all students can learn. We just need to find out how. And I strive every day to show my students ways that they can bring out the very best in themselves by really tapping into their strengths and then and maximizing those to help them learn and access things that they didn't think they could do before. I'm super excited to be part of the Mentor Roundtable, just to be here to share ideas and information and be part of this wonderful group that can help other educators just become better, because we are really better together.
Awesome. Melissa tried to skirt out tonight. I saw her on the attendees list, so I'm glad I got to bring you on over. So Melissa, we're psyched you're here. Introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Melissa Hayes. I have been teaching, I think this is my 24th, but I can't remember. I see a lot of people I know in the chat, so I'm super excited. If you're on Twitter, you know how passionate I am about kids. The whole child inclusion is my passion. So everyone probably already knows that. And I'm super excited. And I do love long walks and chocolate and yada yada.
All right. I think that's a different show, but that's okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. That's after hours, I think.
I think I'm next, but my name's Kanisha, and I am a mentee, 1st-year teacher, and I'm teaching in Georgia. I'll be teaching 10th grade literature and also an SAT prep, like college skills class. And I'll be teaching face-to-face and online, also while being in my Master of Arts in Teaching program. So it's a lot, but that's why I'm so glad to be here, just to get the support and the insight. I'm always eager for like new information, best practices, all of that. I'm all about it. So I'm just grateful to be here.
All right, so it's my turn now. My turn.
Do I have to answer?
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Dennis Griffin. Just wanted to make sure it was my turn so I didn't mess up. I'm just grateful to be here with this group of educators. Many of them I had already known through Twitter, and then I've also had like the pleasure of learning so much about each and every one of them through our conversations leading up to tonight. I know I'm going to gain a lot of experience and from their knowledge, and I'm looking forward to just continuing to share and learn, because as Carrie said, we are better together, especially during these times. We can't do this alone. We never could do it alone, but now more than ever. So let's have a great time. Cool shirt, Matt. Can I have one?
Thank you. Yeah. I'll see what I can do. I'll see if I can get you one. And Arrow, we skipped you.
That's okay.
We can't have that.
Hi, everyone. I'm Ariel Adrian. I'm a literacy specialist from Long Island, New York. I'm also in the Hofstra University doctoral program for literacy. I just finished my coursework, so I'll be starting my dissertation work this upcoming year. I'm starting in a new district this fall, and I actually have the opportunity. I'm teaching 4th grade ICT this year, which is very different than anticipated. I'm a literacy specialist by trade, but to help with social distancing and small class sizes, I will be teaching a brand new grade with a co-teacher. So this is going to be an awesome year. I'm looking forward to learning from all of you, sharing my knowledge and learning with all of the panelists and the people that are attending. So thank you everyone for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Awesome. I had a couple private chats. I didn't introduce myself. My name is Matt Joseph. I am the author of The Modern Mentor, and I am also right now the director of curriculum and instruction in Leicester, Massachusetts. And one of the things I wanted to start off by is this whole idea came really organically when actually having a conversation with Emily, who was graduating from Springfield and had an opportunity to go to college with her dad. And we were just chatting about how's this going to work. And we started to connect and help with resume writing. And then she got interviews and of course got a job. I mean, besides being a fabulous educator, I mean, graduate from Springfield, you're going to be great. So besides that, and then we started talking and I put out on Twitter about, hey, was there other educators who want to be part of it? And people started to email me. Ariel connected first, or Twitter message, and Melissa and Carrie, and it just started to build up. And one of the things that really struck me was that that's how the school year is going to be. That's how we are going into our year that we really think we know, but we don't know. And one of the goals of our time on Sunday nights, and it might just be the 13 of us, it may be 30, maybe 100, who knows? The point is we need to continue to connect, and things are going to come at us left and right. And I've seen a lot of professional webinars. I've seen a lot of kind of silly webinars, and we're going to be kind of somewhere in the middle. And I know we all did our intros, and we have some established people here. We have some real accomplished people. We have some new folks who are starting new adventures themselves. So I'm hope we just have a conversation. I hope those who watch or watch on the recording enjoy what we have to say. And here's what I did tonight. The first question was coming from Don Goebel, but that's actually not the first question, because one of the things that we have to continue to do as educators, as mentors and mentees, is be ready for anything. So I'm going to ask Emily and Molly and Jason, what is like a pet peeve right now that you really hope when you start your first day, one of these incredibly professional, accomplished people don't do? What are some things that you would not want to happen to you on your first few days that a mentor comes in and says or does what? Like, what would drive you crazy? So it's free reign, right? So mentors can come in and say, sign 50 pieces of paper, do it like me. Jason, I think I know someone in your building. What you can tell them right now, what is one thing you don't want the principal of your building to ask you to do as the new vice principal? Just this is your time.
Be careful, Jason.
No, I'm muting you. No, that's not how it works here.
I don't know, with it being such different times, so I don't think it's too much that he could ask me to do with us being virtual right now. We don't have any students, but I guess the probably the only pet peeve would be if he was like holding me accountable to make sure all the teachers were being active while they're reporting in the building and making sure they're teaching simultaneously. And I say this because with me being new to the building, I don't know any of their names, and we have our masks on, so I really only know people by their eyes and their eyebrows right now. So it would be a pet peeve if he sent me around the building to check on people, because I wouldn't know who I was talking to or where I was going in the building.
And yeah, no, I think that's important to talk about. And that's why I wanted to jump off on, like, what are some things you wouldn't think about? You started to talk and I had no clue kind of where you were going with it. But then it was like, yeah, you're right. It's the mask and different things. And that would be incredibly hard. Emily and Molly, you have one yet? This is your time.
I have one that's like kind of minuscule, but
go for it.
There's so many acronyms in education, and I found myself looking up a lot of different things, and people will use words, or like districts will send out emails, or on Twitter I'll see acronyms and I'm like, I have no idea what that means. So when you're mentoring, I think being overly explaining everything is going to be really helpful for one of us who might be sitting here cluelessly or being a little too nervous to ask, like, what does that mean again?
Awesome. No, so that is perfect. Like the acronyms and all of them. Explain yourselves, mentors, building principals. Explain yourselves as these new educators come in. Emily, how about when your principal just calls on you and you have no clue? How about that? Like this would be one of them, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, being called on and having no clue, especially when you are on Zoom and haven't even met any of your supporting teachers or mentors in person yet. Like I'm going through that now. We start PD tomorrow, and it'll just be interesting being called on. You're like, whoa, I haven't met any of you yet. This is a little stressful. Definitely a intimidating time. I think just kind of having organic conversations is the best. Like this makes me feel so much more comfortable and ready to talk to other adults and other professionals online and even in person too. Like this is totally not something that I've ever done before. I just graduated college and the most I've done on Zoom is talk to my classmates. So this is definitely a big step up and this is giving me some good confidence right now. So it's great.
Yeah, so those are, I've done a lot of Zoom conversations, and I know, and I wanted to put you on the spot for a reason. One, I saw like, whoa, the real nervousness of like, this is not how this was going to go. And for principals, and Kanisha, don't think you're off the hook yet. I know you're new, but you're more veteran new in your profession. You've been in education for a bit, so I'm coming to you soon. But for our principals and leaders and even mentors to start jumping into questions and hammering our new educators and expecting they know how this works just because it's been going on for a while, they don't. And I think that's something we have to keep in mind. And Kanisha, I know you're starting a new profession. I'm going to flip it the other way for you. What would be something you would want, and I'm going to throw it to the mentors next, what would be a smooth landing for you on your first day when you have a mentor or your principal or somebody that's going to welcome you into the building? What would you want to see besides the person just yelling at you at Zoom like I'm doing to poor Emily and Molly and Jason?
Honestly, I feel like I'm pretty self-sufficient and like my mentor is very a little overbearing. And sometimes I'm kind of like, I can do this. Like I'm okay. So sometimes I think on the first day, I kind of want you to just like, let me do my thing. It's already, daunting enough on the first day, just trying to get to know the students and trying to really find my groove. So I'm just hoping that, I have the freedom to just do that without you continually being like, hey, are you? And I feel like it's nice, I know she or he just wants to be supportive. But I feel like I just want to be able to have the freedom to just teach and to get to know my students without feeling, so hands-on.
Yeah, no, and you are a published author and a veteran in the education profession, but it is your first year in the building. So I think that's great to know that just because it's your first year to give you some leeway as well. I know, Jason, it's your first year in this building, but you've been principal, vice principal in other places as well. So I'm going to open up to the rest of our crew, and I'm going to say, go back to Don's question for a minute. What is one way you would build relationships? And I know we have folks from different states here and different backgrounds, so I'd love to hear something you've done to welcome new educators into your building. Just jump in. At this point, it's not a call on, so go for it.
Sure. I'm sorry, whoever just started.
Go ahead, Ariel. It's all you. I'll go next.
Patty just said something in the chat that was great. Just making sure that we're in contact with the people that are in the building. She called them the social logistics, your secretaries, custodians, tech gurus. I remember my first day of teaching.
Excellent.
Years ago, I had a spider in the classroom, and I mean, it was so not a big deal, but I was a little freaked out. My students were running around. I didn't know their names yet, and just being able to call the custodian up by name got him up a little bit quicker. He knew where to go. He knew my classroom because I had introduced myself, and that really taught me the power of making sure that beyond your department, beyond your grade, going in and introducing yourself to the clerical staff, to the secretaries, because those are the people you may have to call in for if you're absent, or just to say hello to in the morning. And I'm going to make it a point this year that I'm starting in a new school to make sure that I know those clerical staff members, the custodians by name, the security guards. Really important. So Patty, that was a great addition. Thank you.
Awesome.
So Matt, when you had shared this question before we, we went live, I wrote down the word intentional. I feel that as you start the year and you go into a relationship with a mentor and a mentee, you need to really be intentional about that communication. I really think that, a mentor and a mentee have to have that safe space to be able to ask those questions, and the mentor needs to encourage those questions. And I think that to really be direct, to really say, listen, there's no question that is, silly or insignificant. Ask everything, because also you don't know what you don't know. So if you don't start having those important conversations, you're not going to get to that space. So for me, that word intentional is what really came into my mind.
Awesome. Dennis, what are you going to do? You're starting off, you're a veteran principal, and what are some ways you're going to make new folks feel comfortable?
I'm not sure I'm a vet yet. I've been here a couple of years. I'm not a vet. It makes it sound like I'm getting
You're
old.
enough. You've been around enough to know, right?
So with me, and I'll share, because I think it's only fair I get to share some things back about Jason now, because he got to share some.
That's not fair. No, that was not part of the deal.
One of the things that I would say, like when you're bringing people in, two of the key things I always try to stress is, number one, where do you want to be in the next 5 to 10 years? Because that's important. You're not just here to do a job. You're here to learn. You're here to grow. You're here to develop. And part of my responsibility is to help you get there. So Jason and I had a conversation about where he wants to be, and I do this with all educators, period, that I talk to, but especially the new ones. And then furthermore, we have a conversation around, you're not here to assimilate and you're not here to fit in. You have a very unique skill set. And we hired you because we felt your skill set was going to add to the culture in regards to student learning and our ability to learn and grow. A lot of times when you're new and you're coming in, you try to just figure out who to fit in with, has the seniority and everything else, and that stifles your ability to continue to grow. And then on top of it, I'm just super energetic all the time. So I make sure that everybody gets that full blast of energy when they first meet me, and we have fun. Make sure
Awesome. And Jackie, Melissa, you are, again, veteran educators, but you're starting new positions. What are, and both different, not like we're a second grade teacher and now you're a third grade teacher. They're a little drastically different almost. What can you tell us really quickly again what that is, and what would you want as a start off for someone supporting you in that role?
So I'm moving from the high school to middle school, and it is, in the middle school, it's very team-based. And so what I've experienced so far from a new teacher perspective is my teammates have been reaching out a ton. We met a little bit over the summer where we could, sit socially distanced and, have just some coffee and hang out and just get to know one another, because we're going to be working with each other all year, whether it's in person or whether it's virtual. And so it was really nice to be able to establish those personal connections, which ties into when I was an administrator and when I was in my building for a while. I really made sure that I reached out to all the new teachers and tried to build that personal connection with them. So asking them things that they love to do outside of school, because we talk pedagogy all day. And so I want to know, someone said kind of like, what's your why? And that doesn't always necessarily have to be, about the classroom. It could be, I want to show my daughter XYZ, or, whatever it may be. And I want to make sure that I really know who, I'm working with and who I'm talking to, more so than just, I'm a teacher and that's it.
Awesome. And Melissa, I know you shared just about the change, and what would make it a smooth for you?
Well, I'm still in second grade, but now I'm online full time. And it's still second grade, but it's totally different because some of the things that you take for granted are those quick observations and those quick check-ins, and now it's all remote. So I actually just helped a couple of teachers like an hour or two ago, getting on Flipgrid, showing them how to run things. My team is amazing. But I think, because I'm a mentor, but I'm kind of in the other boat now, I think the biggest thing is a listening ear, someone who will listen without opinion, without just giving that opinion, just listening. I think that's huge, especially for newer teachers. They just want someone to vent to, someplace safe to talk about anything. And then just the relationship piece, knowing that they need to have that time to themselves. They need to take care of themselves in order to take care of their kids. And let's face it, there's so much going on now. It's even hard to get 5 minutes alone. But I think it's so important, and it's definitely a necessity.
Awesome. Carrie, I'm glad you're back. We lost you for a minute.
Our internet is always, you know, likes to have fun.
Oh, I'm sure. What do you think right now as you start to enter? And you said you didn't know how many years you had, but that doesn't mean that this year is going to start off as it has. And then Craig, get ready because you're next. So Carrie, what does this year bring for you, and how are you going to support some of the newer folks? Since you've said yourself you've done this a couple years.
Sure. We have a new teacher on our team too. So I try to, you know, anytime, and we are a pretty well-established team, that the teachers that I've been teaching with and the social worker and speech path that we have on our team have been together for quite a few years. So anytime we get a new teacher on a team, it's, you know, it makes you reflect a lot deeper about what we need to make sure we offer this new team member, because when we have a long established relationship, we forget, you know, or we have to be even more conscious about making sure that that person feels like they have an equal voice with a group that's so tight. And I find myself like really reminding myself that relationships are king. They are like with our students, with our peers and our people in our building, they should be the first and foremost thing. And if that means, you know, for me, it's like walking in the building and going by their room and saying hi every morning, you know, just making sure they remember that I'm here, that I see that they're here. How are you doing? Have a great day. It doesn't have to be a long conversation, but that I see them and that they feel like they're welcomed in this space and in the building with us. And then also, you know, listening to like some of the pet peeves and things like that. I think we also want to make sure when we have new teachers is kind of feeling out their personality. I think sometimes we have people that you can flood them with information and they can filter it and they want to hear all of it and they'll pick the idea out later. And then there's other people that if you keep flooding, like it's just too much. So also just making sure that you're really tapped in to the type of learner that the new teacher is as well, and really getting a feel for their personality so that that you can offer them, so that you can be the best mentor and best resource possible. And I also agree with Sari and just, you know, making sure that the conversations are so open and can be so honest so that our new teachers never have any fears about any question that they ask. And that I think is just as important as it goes with relationships, right? I guess.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's awesome. And Craig, I'm going to ask you, because I know recently you switched roles from a principal to executive director, and as a new leader, any new leaders listening here, and I know Jason's not new, but he's in a new position. What would be something you would mentor a new leader and say, this is one thing you would need entering a new building or entering into building principal for the first time?
It's a great question, Matt. One of the things that I will share, you know, going into year 20, which is crazy for me, I think about Dr. Brene Brown. She is one, you know, I'm just a complete fan. And she says, sometimes the bravest and most important thing you can do is just show up. No one has ever been in this moment at this time, in this experience, with all of the things that are happening. And so depending on where you are in your career, where you are, you know, in all of this, sometimes it's about showing up, because there are thousands of communities that have never been a virtual community and are now launching virtual communities for young people to learn and thrive. And so staff members across the community, across the nation, are trying to figure out, how do I take the same sophistication, the same skill set, the same set, you know, the same set of skills that it requires to build relationships across the community with my peers, as what I'm going to do with my students and families. And we're doing this in a way that is unknowing and unparalleled. So sometimes you just have to show up authentically who you are. You have to name the things that you can do well, and you have to say, you know what, I'm still growing on that. I'm still growing in that. I too with all of the wisdom that I have, I've never been a leader of a physical campus that has become virtual. This is, going into a full year to see, well, what is this experience going to be like, and how do you guide and direct people? So one of the things that I find that is super important for leaders to really consider is, how, checking your pulse at the door and making sure that when you walk in, and you're in the trenches with those who are going to be doing this work, because no one has ever been in this. And so how are you also learning, the virtual tools of engagement, relationship building, social emotional learning, relationship building, relational trust? Like, how are you fortifying your skill set so that you too can model that on a consistent basis? Because when people are dealing with crisis and trauma, and they're dealing with things that they've never done before, things go crazy. People get a little bit out of pocket because they're like, look, I want you to see the best of me. I want you to know that I'm in it and committed to the young people we serve. I'm committed to the cause, but I've never been trained in my, my education to do this in this way. And so sometimes you have to be brave and just show up, bring your full self. And sometimes you have to say, look, I'm still learning here. And so what I also lean in on James Baldwin, who says, not everything that is faced, right, can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. And so we are in unparalleled and unprecedented times. And so for those who are leaders and mentors who are going to be guiding this work, you have to be patient. You have to create space that is courageous and brave enough so that people can say and name, look, I'm still trying to figure this out too. And you partner with them and you try to be empathetic. You use an active listening ear, and you just kind of, you kind of knuckle in and say, all right, we're going to breathe together. We're going to move together, and together at the end, we're going to continue to count the outcomes. And that's where growth mindset is, because I don't know, in full honesty, what 21 is going to look like. But if we start off with saying, we're just going to get through today, or we're going to just get through this week, and we're going to figure out what did we do well, and we're going to figure out how can we do that better so that we don't continue to replicate the mistakes of yesterday, then that's fine. And so for us as mentors, and just us who have a little age and a little seasoning on us, right?
I'm surprised when you threw out, Jackie's throwing out Britney Spears. You're saying, 20 years.
I'm so glad that was recorded. That was amazing, Craig.
Yeah.
Much to pull from that.
It's
amazing. It's so great to hear different perspectives, because I feel like I'm not a new teacher, but I'm also not a veteran teacher either. And being in the middle, sometimes you have this false perception of what you think administration will be like. You think, okay, I'm supposed to be this way. I need to show up. I'm not a new teacher anymore, so I need to make sure I put on my A game. And you said it best. We've never done this before. We have no idea.
And it is. It's just taking risks. It's trying things, and seeing what happens. And I was going to try one now if people are comfortable. If Kathy, I saw someone, you put up mentor kits, and then people started to ask about those. Are you okay if you come on and just tell us what that is? Just throw it in the chat. If you'd be all right to just tell us what if that is.
She should be okay.
All right, we're going to bring you on right now. Just tell us, nice. I see you there. Unmute your mic. We're just trying things on this event too, because I know all of us are here tonight, and sometimes people can make it, sometimes people can't. Hey, Kathy Sue, welcome to the webisode. You didn't think this was happening, did you? This is what I'm talking about. Like, this is how these nights are going to go, where you just don't know. Bemis, you're lucky I didn't pull you up. But Kathy, 1 minute, 2 minutes. Tell us who you are, where you're from, and tell us about these mentor kits. I know Emily and Molly are thrilled about these.
I'm Kathy Sue Summers, and I live in Medford, Oregon. And I am a retired middle school principal. And I now mentor first and second year teachers in the Southern Oregon area. So I have anywhere from 3 to 12 new teachers a year. And what I do is I just put together a kit, and it's usually in a little fishing box, with different compartments, and it has something like a like shout out wipes and mints and safety pins and a sewing kit and a lint brush and just all kinds of things. Some of the emergency, packets
Awesome.
and lozenges and chapstick and just things that I know that when I was starting out, it would have been nice to know a Tide pin, so if you get something on the front of you or whatever, you can get it out of you.
No,
But those kinds of things, that's what
awesome.
I do. And they just look at me and go, "You care that much that you would do this?" And I said, "Why not?"
No, that is awesome. And thanks for jumping on and being the first kind of just trying this out. I'm going to send you back to attendees, but before we do, you must have either have my email or the DM. I'm going to send you a copy of the Modern Mentor for taking the risk and jumping on. So if you either DM or email me your address, I'll send it to you. And thanks for jumping on.
You bet.
All right. And I'm going to
Several of my friends are in here.
Awesome. That is awesome.
Carrie, Melissa.
Good stuff. So I'm going to take that and throw it over to Emily and Molly as traditional first-year college graduates. If you were to have a kit and somebody made this mentor kit for you, we come at it and I would put Kathy maybe in the season category. I'm not going to go that far and go in that direction, but she's with me and in the season category. Molly and Emily, if we think we know what we want to give you in this kit, what would you want? You're both moving, first time in, living on your own outside of college. You're starting a new job. You're starting it virtually. What would be something you would want in your mentor kit or mentee kit, whatever she calls it?
Did you want to go in?
Go ahead.
Okay. Those are all really awesome things. I think that I have not bought one single thing that she just mentioned there. Don't have a Tide pen, don't have a sewing kit. So I'm going to write all those things down to take. And then I think in terms of a kit, more so maybe like a list or a written document of ideas, or maybe so I'm moving to the area. So I'm teaching in Westfield and I'm moving to West Springfield. So maybe a list of their favorite coffee shops or some tips and tricks about the school. On Fridays, we all bring money to order lunch out instead of bringing our own lunch, or just certain written things in addition to those material things that we might not know coming into the school or the area.
Awesome. No, that's a great one.
Yeah, definitely. And along with that, it's so overwhelming to even think about the little things for classroom when I'm not even sure which classroom I will have or what my classroom will look like. So those are definitely stressful things. But I agree with Molly, like a written list, as well as just kind of tips on this kind of storage thing worked for me. Or when I was a first year teacher, I thought that this best rug and all these pocket slips were the most amazing things, and they totally ended up not working. Just kind of seasoned advice being these specific materials, they'll last you forever. I highly recommend that you have this in your classroom. And I know times are different with virtual and being remote and not being able to keep shared materials in a classroom. But just in general, just kind of things that you think are a must-have, I guess, for a classroom. I think that those are super important, big things and little.
Awesome. And I think that's so important. And one of the things that I wrote about in the Modern Mentor was about the unwritten rules that we want to make sure our mentees know. One that I said was the copier. You got to tell your new educator how to use the copier, because you can't have them standing in the main office and they're already nervous and they jam the copier and then they're just scared. They probably just turn around and be like, it was jammed before I got here. I don't even know. You can't have that happen. So I'm going to throw it out to our crew here. And now it's different because we have how to turn on your mics, how to not turn on your mic, how to click the right link, whatever it may be. What are some things that are now that seem like unwritten rules, but our new educators need to know? And just jump in.
I think this isn't related to virtual, but for those that are going back to the traditional classroom, and then I'll answer what you just said, Matt. But I always left an extra pair of shoes in my classroom too. I could function with without a lot of things in the room, but if I had an issue with my feet that day, having extra shoes makes all the world of a difference, and a sweater. And that's just something to think about transitioning to virtual too. Keeping what you need around you, because it can be really distracting. I know from when I was virtually teaching in the spring, if you get a phone call in your house, or if the doorbell rings, or if you need a drink, setting yourself up for success so that if you're in the groove and teaching and it's going really well with the kids, you don't want to have to get up to answer the house phone or go get your drink of water, because you are losing that personal touch with the students. Like what someone said, you're not able to walk around, check in with observations and conference, and you don't want to be in a breakout room with kids and then ding dong, your doorbell's ringing. So I've always tried to set myself up around my desk, which is what I would need. And, it's really different this year. Like we were saying, I'm going from keeping flip-flops to now I have my Ring doorbell set up on my phone. That way I could see who's at the door. But like what Molly said, having a list of just local places around the area is a great idea too, because if you are moving to a new area and you only have an hour for lunch, it is great for you if you go back to the traditional classroom to find out like what's a good coffee shop, or where do people hang out around, or where can I get a slice of pizza? And that's something to really think about for all of us. Just where can we get out and feel a little normal as we transition back?
I would also say, start establishing or building your relationship with the school secretaries too, because they are like the gatekeeper of everything, and they get stuff done. Like they are just incredible people. And so having them on your side, having them as part of your team, so that if you have questions or you need anything, usually you can call the front office and they can answer almost every question. I just find that they're just an invaluable resource to have, as knowing who they are, how to get in touch with them when you need them. They can get you in touch with anybody you need to get in touch with. But they are just a really, they're just really valuable part of the school.
Carrie stole mine, but I was so I'll also say, I just think this year, what I'm really hoping to focus on is ensuring that I have really strong relationships with my students. Granted, now I'm going to be hybrid, so I'll get to see my students, for half the day, but at the same time, I'm still not getting that same contact that I would every single day. So my first week is 100% like different get to know you activities, building classroom, environments. I have my students create the classroom expectations because I want to know, and we're also going to be doing, what worked during virtual learning, last semester, and what do you want it to look like this semester in case we do end up going remote. And they do have a virtual component as well. And so what I really think is important for this year, no matter what model you're in, is just, making sure that the kids know that you trust them, that you love them, that, you are there for them. Because these last couple of months have been traumatic in a million different ways. And I just think, content, and I put it in the chat earlier, content can wait. I mean, honestly, we're already, going to have to review last year's standards. And I just think just content can wait. We need to be, getting to know the kids.
We're talking a lot about the relationships with all the people in the building. And Craig, I have to tell you, I'm still thinking about what you shared earlier, and I'm wondering if maybe you're going to come and speak to my faculty, because it was extremely inspiring. I'm thinking about what you mentioned with Brene Brown, and if you haven't listened to her podcast on FFTs, I know Lauren knows all about that one. She also speaks to going through things for the first time. And I think that, as just Jacqueline was mentioning, we're all going through this for the first time. And I think that we need to also focus on the relationship with ourselves. And we need to give ourselves the permission to make mistakes, because I'm telling you, every single one of them, especially myself, I'm going to make mistakes. And I shared that with my faculty at my first virtual principal faculty meeting on Friday. I flat out said, I'm gonna make mistakes. And I'm hoping that, you know, I'll be able to extend the same grace to myself as I'm hoping that, you know, we all can extend to each other. Livia, in the group right now, we had a great conversation earlier this week in one of the chats that we're in. And we started with the hashtag pace of grace. And to me, that's really important. You know, there's a lot going on, and I think that we just need to allow ourselves the opportunity to grow and reflect and learn from what's going on all around us.
You're muted, Matt.
You're muted.
Matt, you're muted.
See, I wanted to model what it looks like when you make mistakes. And so I was just saying, this is what it looks like. So I was blabbing away. Nobody's listening. And I wanted to see who was brave enough to say something. So, and that's part of what we're doing too. We have to speak up. We have to be there for each other. And one of the things that you had said is about growth. And it's amazing that 45 minutes can fly by as it is. But one of the things that we have done this week is continue to talk about our own growth. And I want to end with each of us sharing something we hope that we are able to grow this year, and how we're going to continue to grow and learn, because not only are we going to come on, and sometimes it'll be a few of us, sometimes it'll be more, who knows. Sunday nights, it'll be some collection of us talking about these type of things and keeping it loose and having those conversations and taking your questions. But at the same time, we're all in education too. And if we aren't modeling that we're growing too as educators, then we're just here talking heads. And that is not at all what this is. And it was great to hear the chatter this week and talk about our own excitement just to grow from the people on this group. And if nobody logged in and nobody watched the video, I know I'm going to be better each week talking to some of these amazing educators. And I'm going to end, Molly and Emily, I want you to go last, only because you are the true first year folks, and something that you're hopeful for this year, because I want to see your growth throughout the year. But Euritza and Sorry, what are some, Sarah, sorry, I'm going to get that at one point this year. I keep saying sorry, Sarah.
It's like Larry.
I know you've told me like 6 times, but it's about, I'd love to hear it from everybody, but you're the two on the top of the screen for now. And then we're going to go through something you're looking to grow this year as educators.
I would say my patience. So we're being able to like work with teachers, I've learned that, you know, one, I can't make assumptions, because sometimes people know more than me, even though, you know, they may see me as an expert. I know I'm not an expert. I have a lot of growing to do in education. And also just transparency. If I have a question, and even though I'm the mentor, I can still ask them for help. I feel like this year, there's still uncertainty. Like, we don't know what to expect, even though we're going back face to face with students. I know from the students that I teach that, you know, some of them are hungry still. Some of them are still contacting us, asking us if we're going to open up our pantries this year, which we're not. We have a laundry in our school that we have to shut down because now we can't allow the kids to wash their clothes. Most of my kids live in shelters. And so where we were able to provide support, because of this pandemic, we no longer can assist our students who are overage, undercredited, living in shelters. Some of them are homeless, they're teenage parents. And so I have to have more patience, not only with students, but with the adults and with myself. So I would say that is the number one thing that I would want to work on. And just knowing that, you know, everyone needs help. I need help. Tonight I'm gonna need help after this.
Well, we're here for you.
Yeah.
My goal for the 2020 year has been to listen. For me, I feel that it's so critical, and people share more than we realize. And I feel I'm an individual who is constantly trying to just get through that to-do list. I have so much that I just need to check off, and my personality, it feels really good to like put that check mark next to it. And I think that for me, especially with everything that has transpired over the last 6 months, to take a step back and really, you know, just listen. There's a reason why, you know, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, right?
I like it. So Ariel, Jacqueline, Jason, you're the next 3 on at least my view. I'd love to hear one of the things that you're looking to grow as an educator this year.
Sure. I've always loved the expression Maslow before Bloom, and that's something I really want to focus on this year, making sure, like Yuritsa said, that my students' needs are taken care of. I'm working in a new district with new students, teaching a new discipline that I've never taught before, but I'm taking what I've learned from all of my years of experience, and I want to bring the magic of school to these kids who I'm going back to traditional face-to-face learning. My students will be scared. We all are. And I want them to feel comfortable and safe. And like Jacqueline said, if it's a day where we need to just do a read aloud and hang out and talk, that's okay. Content can wait. And I am also one to go through my to-do list very quickly. I like to just get things done, but I always remind myself that my students are people. I'm a person. We're humans, and humans need to be heard and listened to and illuminate their strengths, because I love when people do that for me. So I want to remember that feeling and do it for my students this year.
I want to make sure that, I'm really good, clearly because I'm on this panel, but I'm really good at dishing out advice and not always really good at listening to advice or asking questions. Really, that's more my weakness, is that I don't ask questions because I feel like it doesn't look good if I've been in education for 12 years and I don't know what I'm doing. But I have to keep in mind that I am in a brand new environment. I've never worked on, we had PLCs at high school, but you know how autonomous high schools are. So I have to be, very collaborative with this team. I have to, be lockstep pretty much with them. So it's going to take a lot of, I think, patience and just a lot of questions. And I have to be okay with asking those questions, even if it does make me seem, a little weak, I guess.
No,
I just have to be okay with that.
asking the questions is a sign of strength for sure.
Yeah.
And Jason, I'm going to cut you off for a second because I know Craig has a hard stop, and I don't want to miss this and get him an opportunity to share one of the things he's growing. And in case you have to log off, I want to make sure to respect that. Craig, what is something that you're looking to do this year to make a growth?
What I'm really trying to do is remind my my leaders in my community. Kind of reminds me of the TED Talk that Dina Simmons did, and she talked about self-care being an act of political warfare. We're in a pandemic, right? And we're not just dealing with a pandemic of COVID, we're dealing with a pandemic of racism as well. And so one of the things that I really want my community to think about is how are you caring for yourself? How are you ensuring that throughout this work that we do, we're pouring countless hours of our heart, our soul, and our spirit into what we do? How do we create the opportunities to take care of ourselves? Because we can't be good to the community if we're not good to ourselves. We cannot give the best of who we are unless we truly dedicate the kind of time we need to ourselves. And I know some people say, Craig, that's selfish. But I'm like, if I can't give my best self to you because I've not given to myself, then everyone loses. So how are you creating the best opportunities to make sure you do those walks, you practice yoga, mindfulness, you breathe, right? You do all the things that you need to do to ensure that you are taken care of, because you're going to do greater work because you're making sure you're good too. So if that means that you're in the shower for 6 minutes instead of 5, like, do that. Bubble down, baby. Just bubble down. And I'm just thinking, like, self-care is one of the biggest things that I need to make sure I'm doing and that I'm championing for everyone in my leadership team to do, because we will never be greater to the world unless we make sure we take care of ourselves.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Jason, we're going to jump in. Jason, Melissa, Dennis, and Carrie. Kanisha, I'm saving you to the end too.
All right. This year, I want to focus on becoming a better instructional leader. I think as a teacher and as an administrator, my strong suit has always been working with students and working with families. This year, I want to become a better coach, a better evaluator, and a better mentor to the staff in the building and the teaching staff. One of the things that I've taken away from Dennis so far in this short period of time is starting slow to go fast. It's something that he preaches throughout the building, and it's just like, taking a step back, analyzing, listening, having a better understanding of things before we make a decision. So when I do make a decision, it's the right thing later on and it pays off for the long term. So just strengthening my foundation and where I start. So I want to be a better instructional leader, and I want to start slow so I can go fast and make sure I become the best leader I can be.
Awesome. I like that. Melissa, what are you looking for this year?
Well, I teach second, and tomorrow all the kids go back hybrid, and my kids know this. So I want to make sure they have fun every single day. It's really hard remote, but we've already had multiple dance parties. We've Zoomed with Malaysia, and we're going to keep going. But they are my biggest priority, is for them to feel as normal as possible and to have fun, because it's their second grade year. So
Awesome. I like that. We're going to keep that. Dennis and Carrie.
I'll piggyback off of something that Craig started to talk about. We talked a lot about COVID tonight, but we do have a lot of moments that are revolving in our society and our world around racism. And it's ironic that the time that both of these two entities collided, when you look at our world, it really exposed more and more of the inequities that have always been in our society that we feel education can mend. But it really has to take a further and deeper understanding from all of us that our schools are not isolated entities that kids come to and then go back and everything's fine because they came to school. Yaris, it really hurt me when you were telling me like, oh, we have to close down the place where kids come to like wash their clothes. Like, think about the impacts psychologically that has on someone, that I don't know if I have clean clothes to even go on a virtual Zoom to like get educated. And I just really want more and more people, more of our educators, to be able to connect those dots and say, how can I be the change? Because we really have a very unique opportunity right now. Like, I know it's so far from what we know, but when you really think about it, did we ever know what we were coming back to anyway? We had this presumption that, oh, it's going to be the same thing year after year after year. It really never was that. You never knew who your teaching partner was going to be. You never knew if you were going to get changed to a different grade level. You never knew what life was really going to throw at you. But we started to embrace this level of comfort, but yet we know that we have to change in order to grow. And if we can really like take that advice and really build strong collaborative cultures within our school, that you can be transparent, because if you're not transparent, you can't trust anyone. And if you don't trust anyone, then you can't have a relationship, then our society continues to spiral. How in the world do we bring people together towards a collective goal and say, I know you might experience a level of loss, but here's how it's going to make our society better in an equitable way.
Awesome. Thank you.
Am I next?
You're up, Carrie.
Okay. Well, first of all, I don't know how to add to what everybody's, I mean, so many wonderful ideas. As a professional, listening is definitely on the top of my list. Just really taking time to pause before I speak and really listen to what other people are saying. And then also just being more intentional in how I share my thoughts with people, and just being more direct is something that I, as a professional, want to work on. But when it comes to my classroom, I think something that Dennis was making me think, and Craig, everybody's making me like, oh yeah, I want to work on that. It's just really opening up a lot of things that have been on my mind. But also continuing to do the things that have always made us really good teachers, right? In the spring, when we went remote.
And that's what happens when you go remote. Okay, we're back. Or not. She's not going to like how that froze, but we'll just cut that part out for her, because as we continue to learn with that, you just never know. And I know Kanisha and Carrie, when you come back on, you might still be talking, but Kanisha is going to jump in now. As you start your first year, and I know you are been in education for a little bit, or been a professional for a few years, what is something you really are hoping to grow in September? Just thinking about September, what are some things one thing that you would love to have support with? One thing.
Yeah, I mean, all I'm thinking about right now is just like my students, and just not wanting like the students that I teach online to feel neglected or to feel alone, or to feel like I'm not there for them the way that I am for obviously the students I see in the classroom. Like the whole month of August, we took the time to do professional development and learn Canvas and, you know, how to do your modules. And everything. I feel like all the professional development in the world isn't really going to prepare me for whatever happens, but mostly I just want to make sure that they know that I'm there, because I can only meet with my online students 1 hour a week. And so, I mean, that's hard. I feel like obviously it's unexpected. It's not what I would have wanted, but I think what's most important is just being open and being teachable, and not, or at least not trying my best not to show them any fear, or that, you know, just showing that being brave, basically, and just letting them know that I understand where they're coming from. And also, I know you said one thing, but also just
We
making
make
sure
our own rules.
we have those active discussions, because like what's been talked about tonight, you know, COVID and racism, those things are very much important, and it's important that we don't shy away from them, and it's important that we listen to all of their thoughts about those things, because they are the next generation and they are rising up, and it's important what they think, and it's important for them to be the change. So we have to show them, you know, what's possible. So I want them to talk, and I want them to share their opinions, and I want them to know that it's a safe space for them to do that.
Awesome. So Molly and Emily, as our traditional new folks here, and as you enter into this, you're moving, you're starting a new job, you just graduated from college, you're going to start to have some bills, by the way. Share with us one thing that you hope that you get out of either the experience here with these amazing mentors, or in your schools, one thing that you are really looking for some support and guidance and hoping you grow as an educator.
Sure, so I can go first this time. So one thing that I'm really going to be looking for support on, and I've been thinking about it with all of your questions and advice this whole time, is from Springfield College, we are so centered around spirit, mind, and body, and that is something that has really kind of driven me as a person, and I feel pretty well versed in how to keep myself well-rounded and kind of like keep myself like understanding on how to grow in things for as an adult. But one thing that I don't know how to do that is provide for children. So we're learning all about these standards and the curriculum and academics. And I know we keep saying content should come second this year, especially because students will have anxiety. And it's kind of how do we ease that? So as a student teacher and in classes, we learn all about the best practices to teach reading and to teach math, but not necessarily how to ease the anxieties. And I know that this is a first thing for all of you as well as me. But if there are any kind of practices that you've noticed to help kind of build the whole child and have a well-rounded student, not just academically, but personally and with their confidence, that's something that I would really love to kind of get some advice and tips on throughout this whole process from you and from my team leaders at school, just building that for the whole child.
Awesome. All right, Molly, bring us home.
Have a lot of pressure on me, I guess. So I feel like the one thing that I'm looking to grow or looking to really do well in this year, and I already feel that talking to everyone and hearing everything that everyone's saying is helping that, is but building my own confidence as a teacher. I got really comfortable with my students when I was student teaching, but I had somebody else there for me. And then once I was comfortable with them, I was able to have that confidence. But this year, right off the bat, I need to be that leader, be that person who's going to kind of be that guiding support for my kids. I'm the one they're going to look at and be like, is this okay? I'm scared about this when we come into school. And especially as a new teacher, there's going to be a lot of parents that are really excited and really happy for me, and there might be some parents that are skeptical of a 22-year-old teaching their child for the first time. So I really need to work on building my confidence, and even how everyone has been discussing racism and things like that. I want to bring subjects of that into my first grade classroom, and I know that's bold, but like I just bought a book called Don't Touch My Hair, and finding ways to get that in there and without like giving them a whole lesson on the history of the world, but I need to be confident when I'm doing that. And even with mentors as well. So I got scolded by my mentor earlier this week because she was like, please stop saying sorry before every single question you ask. Like, you can't do that. And so I need to be confident also when I'm talking to my colleagues and advocating for myself. So I think that learning and growing and being around other professionals who are helping with that is going to be really helpful, but it's also something that I need to take charge of myself.
Awesome. Well, that is something we're going to look forward to seeing as you continue going on. And if you say sorry coming on here, I know what to do. We won't scold you, but
please do.
No, I will not. One of the things I'm definitely going to work on this year as we wrap up is I'm definitely a problem solver. I'm somebody who likes to see an issue or something that needs to be solved and jump in and solve it. And this year, being remote and not being in the same room and not having that opportunity to have those connections, is I have to slow down a little bit. I have to make sure that I'm meeting people where they are. And even if I think I know where an issue is, or if Molly or Emily had a question, I say I have the answer and I can help you out, but we're all in a new situation. So for me, it's something I want to make sure I slow down in my support of all either new educators or veteran educators as we continue to move forward. And the second piece, and if Kanisha can get to, I'm getting to, that I want to make sure that everybody has a voice this year, to have the opportunity to have different platforms or doing different things, to make sure everybody has a voice in what is important to each other, our students especially, culturally, with our leaders, what is important. And if I can do that, if I can provide others a voice to make a change, then that is something I'll think I made some growth this year in my own growth as a leader. So those are things I'm looking at. So we said 45 minutes, we then said an hour, and now we're at an hour and 7 minutes. We are going to just close it down. I want to thank the people who joined in. I can't wait to hear our feedback as we get together. As we said, we're going to be joining every Sunday night, just having a conversation with us. It could be all of us here. It could be two of us here. Who knows? You might just be stuck with listening to me for an hour. Nobody wants that. So as you saw, we brought in Kathy. We're going to be bringing people. We're going to be trying things out. This is all new to us, but it just shows the power and spirit of education and educators as we continue to grow, because we are all new teachers this year in whatever we do, because this is a different environment. So thank you all. Thank you, all of you amazing educators. I can't wait to continue to grow with you all and learn from you all as this week continues in the budding. Friendships and professional connections, I think, are unmatched in this time. So thank you all. And I hope you have a great night and a great start to your week as well.
I've been waiting on the sunset, bills on my mindset, I can't deny it. Getting higher than my income, income's breadcrumbs. I've been trying to survive. The glow that the sun gets right around sunset helps me to realize that this is just a journey. Drop your worries, you are gonna turn out fine. Oh, you turn out fine. Fine, oh, you turn out fine. But you gotta keep your head up, oh, and you can let your head down, hey. You gotta keep your head up, oh, and you can let your head down, hey. I know it's hard to remember sometimes, but you gotta keep your head up, oh, and you can let your head down, hey, 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 hey. I got my hands in my pockets, kicking these rocks. It's kinda hard to watch this life go by. I'm buying into skeptics mess with the confidence in my eyes. I'm seeing all the angles, thoughts get tangled. I start to compromise my life and my purpose. Is it all worth it? Am I gonna turn out fine? Oh, you turn out fine. Fine, oh, you turn out fine. But you gotta keep your head up, oh, and you can let your head down, hey. You gotta keep your head up, oh, and you can let your head down, hey. I know it's hard to remember sometimes, but you gotta keep your head up, oh, and you can let your head down, hey, hey, hey. Only rainbows after rain, the sun will always come again, and it's a circle, circling around again. It comes around again. I say only rainbows after rain, the sun will always your head down.